Good evening. Welcome to my weekly Node-RED live stream. Just take my headphones off because I've got nothing else to listen to. An hour or so of Node-RED core development. For those following along, I realised last week I said I wasn't going to be around this week. Change in plans. We've had to delay our holiday this week, so I'm actually in work mode, and I thought, hey, as I'm here, may as well do a bit of live streaming. At least it keeps adding videos to the YouTube playlist. So do say hi if you're in the chat. I hope someone's going to be in their chat tonight, even though I expect the regulars weren't expecting me to be online. I have set up a new chat widget in the stream, and I have no idea if it works. So, yeah, I am kind of hoping someone turns up so we can check. Oh, look. Steve, MCLA, right on cue. He's chatted. We can see it. Doesn't look so good. Let's see if I can... and the message disappears. Oh, that's not so good. Right, so to begin this stream chat, this Twitch, we're going to spend a couple minutes fixing up my the stream chat widget. Now, how best to go about doing this? First up, we're going to change the chat background. And we're just going to make it dark for now. So I hope you're ready, Steve. I'm going to be reliant on you chipping in morsels of chat whenever I need to test what I'm doing here. So there's that. And then now if in here, one sec, I'm just putting it, I know you can still hear me. I'm just throwing up stuff so that you can't see what I'm doing, just in case, because I know the screen I'm on has got oh, come on, sorry, it's not loading. Why is it not loading? Sorry, the page I'm about to open up, I think it's got like secret keys and the like on, so I'm just going to avoid showing y'all it. Let's close that. Let's go find, where's my widgets? So I'm on stream, oh look, so that you may as well see what I'm doing. Somewhere, I set this up like 20 minutes ago, so, well, that's handy actually. It does obscure the widget URL. So this is what I've got. Hide messages after. That's not what we want. We want to always show messages. That's the option we want. Because I'm not doing it as an overlay, I'm doing a dedicated chat window. Good. And then one final bit. Let's just tweak the chat background. Let's not have it quite so oppressively black. Okay, there's that bit. And then we don't want 800. I seem to remember I want it 710. Cool, that's working. I think that's working at least. Now if I make it a bit smaller. Oh no, I'm resizing the wrong thing. It's the Twitch chat, which is the right size. Good. We want to unlock it. I'm sure this is riveting to you all watching the video, but it just seems to be one of those things I couldn't fix unless I was live, because I need people chatting. I'm sure there's clever things I could have done around that, but so I'm just, what you can't see me doing is just tweaking my OBS settings off camera. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's see how that works. So anytime you're ready, Steve, you can say hi again, and let's see if it appears and whether it looks any good. Yay, test 2. Okay, it's all a bit contrasty, not nice, but this is a completely default unstyled widget. So cool. Well, that will do for now. I will improve things But I might improve things another time. So what are we doing tonight? Let us close these tabs. Yeah, I thought it was time to get on with a bit of Node-RED core work for the 2.1 release. Still haven't really got wrapped my head around what we're going to do for 2.1 in terms of any significant features, but there's a whole bunch of sort of paper cut pieces. Well, not more than paper. Yeah, paper cuts are just those little enhancements that make life better. And I guess, yeah, this falls into that. What I'm going to look at is, two separate things, or two different routes into thinking about this item. At the moment, the flow outliner lists your flows in the order they exist, which is, matches the order they appear along the top here. And the order they appear along the top here matches the order they appear in your flow file, and also map to the order the individual flows get started. Now there has been a request. Well, we got asked the question, why isn't this list over in the sidebar alphabetical by default? And the answer simply being it's the same order as your tabs. So if you have a short number of tabs, let's say you only had like 3 or 4 tabs, you haven't got that sort of cognitive dissonance between the list here being in a different order to the list up here. And that's the same if you bring down, like, search for the type tab. It will. That's interesting. I was about to say it'll be in the same order, and they are sort of in the same order, except it's all lowercase. I wonder why it's showing all those in lowercase. Is this... yeah. These labels have all been turned into lowercase. Okay. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole tonight. But there was a feature request around sorting this list, and I think it's a perfectly reasonable option to have search options. So you can choose to have them in their natural order, or sort alphabetically, or I don't know what. So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect is, once you open up a flow and look at all the nodes in it, again, this list is in the order the nodes appear in the workspace, appear in the flow file. And again, reflect the order that those individual nodes will get started. So if we have options to order this list, it would make sense also, order the nodes you have here. So my question, so I've described all that, so it sounds like I'm wanting to add in some search tools, but that isn't where I'm going. I've sort of mentally sidetracked myself describing how I've got to where I've got to in terms of what we're doing. What we're actually going to look at is tools to help you organize the nodes and arrange the nodes in the workspace. And there are 2 types of tool. One will be related to everything I've just been talking about, and one isn't. So the one that is related is the order the nodes appear influences what overlaps what in the workspace. So let's overlap these 2 nodes. And you can see this. Well, okay, I can't do it with 2 debug nodes because that's just going to confuse matters. Right, here we've got an HTTP node, and if I scroll down the sidebar, you can see here it is in the list, and a debug node, which if I should be able to. Oh yeah, so it is higher up in the list, and that makes sense. This debug node has been placed first, and then the HTTP node has been placed on top of it, so it appears later in the list. So there is one view tool, and that's the theme I've given the stream tonight, view tools, is to be able to change the stacking of nodes in the workspace. Now, in general, you don't want nodes overlapping each other, but the order the nodes appear does actually also influence the order they start in and things like that. So, yeah, it's never been a highly critical feature to add, but for the sake of something that should be fairly straightforward to add, we're just going to go for it. So that's one, and that a consequence, an effect of changing that is it will change the order of the nodes in this list, and that is actually quite complicated to achieve, because at the moment nodes can't change the order they exist in. They can be added and removed. So, if I wanted to bring this debug to the front, I could cut it, paste it, and then I'd have to reconnect it. But that is obviously a completely different action to reordering. So yeah, reordering actually, the more I think of it, reordering is actually quite tricky, because it's going to introduce a new edit event that anything that cares about ordering of nodes is going to have to respond to and take care of. Yeah, that's actually a bit more tricky than perhaps we want to get into tonight. So maybe we park that idea, but it's certainly on the to-do list. The other idea is, here we've got a whole bunch of nodes nicely aligned. So the other idea is be able to select a bunch of nodes and then say align all these nodes on their right edge, their left edge, the top, the bottom, distribute them. Basically the absolutely standard set of align and distribute tools you get in pretty much all visual vector applications. That's probably going to be far easier. That kind of fits in the mold of what we have. So let's just dive into that. Enough jabbering on. Let's dive in. So in the source code, if I can remember where we have it, we have, just help you navigate, we're in packages, node modules, @node-red, editor client, because this is the editor source code, source, JS, UI, view tools. So this is where we've got a bunch of actions that already exist in the editor, aligned to grid, selecting, navigating nodes, all that sort of stuff. In fact, here you can see the long list of actions we already have in there. So what we're going to do is add some align actions. So, I forgot we'd added all these actions. Go to nearest node. Anyway, we're going to start by defining an action. Red.actions. What's this next way? While you're at it, can you make it so if you hold down spacebar, a hand icon appears and you can grab and move around the canvas? Well, suddenly if you have a 3-button mouse, you can use your third mouse button to do just that, which is handy. And again, one of those hidden things until you know it's there. If you don't have a 3-button mouse, we don't have an answer for that. But yes, and when you say while you're at it, I mean, while you're busy writing some code, why didn't you go and write some entirely different code as well? Right, align nodes to left. I think that's probably what we want to call the function, call the action. So we define an action and the function that will get called when that action is invoked. Align, or do align selection to left. You did try. It was a fair try, Nox. To be honest, that's just the sort of paper cut issue of that. It will probably be pretty easy to add, and we'll get around to it at some point. Okay, so align node to the right. Oh, no, let's do one at a time. Let's not get carried away. So align selection to left. We've defined the action. And here's the actual function. So this function will get called whenever that action is invoked. And just got to go and find one of the other examples. Like align to grid. Okay. So in fact, I'm just going to copy align to grid wholesale. So what does it do? It first goes and gets the selection. So what's currently selected in the workspace. It selection.nodes, as in the selection involves nodes, not the tabs themselves. In this instance, we also want to say and selection.nodes.length is greater than 1, because we only want to bother doing anything if, well, you can't align one node to itself, or you can, you don't do anything. Okay. So what we want to do is, when you do the align, we've got to decide which one anchors the alignment. Do we align them all to a median point? Do we align them all to the first in the selection, or do we align them all to the last in the selection? Now, my gut feel says align to the last thing in the selection, I think. I think that's what my gut feel says, but ever to try this out, why don't we... Is that going to do it? Hello? No, it is coming. I don't know what the stream quality is like for you guys. My laptop is being a little temperamental and slow, but anyway. Right, so let's just see what PowerPoint does as an example. Don't align that. So let's just create 3 squares. I select them, and I've selected this bottom right corner last. And I'm going to say align to left, and they've all moved to line up with the first one I selected. Let's try that in reverse. So I've selected this bottom left one first. Align to left. Okay, so it's aligned them all to the leftmost one. I assume that is going to be consistent if I say align to bottom. Yep, it aligned to the bottom one in my selection. Align to top in the selection, okay. And then align to middle. Okay, that has taken the median point. Fair enough. If that's what PowerPoint does, then I will live with that. Okay, so to do this, we need to do 2 passes through the selection of nodes. First one, we need to find the minimum, in this instance, left edge. And then we need to go and move all the nodes that need moving. So we're going to say, call it target X. And this one, we'll call it math.infinity. Because we're trying to find a minimum, so we'll just set it to the biggest number. hold on. Math.infinity is one I use rarely enough that I could well believe it's not one that exists. Yeah, it doesn't exist. It's number.infinity, isn't it? Oh, why don't we use number.maxsafeinteger? There we go. Same principle. Set it to a whackingly great big number. Iteration over the nodes. We get the nodes x position, which is n.x minus half of its width, because a node's x and y are actually the center point of the node, not its top right corner. So its leftmost edge's node is its x minus half its width. We're going to then set target is math.min of target and node x. So we want to find the smallest one. I'm going to leave that code in there. So we do one pass that finds the minimum. We're going to then do another pass that says, so if node x is not equal to target x, yeah, so if node x is not equal to target x, then we're about to move the node. So if we're going to move the node, this is what we do. So I've already got my change nodes array, because for the undo history we need to make a note of everything we've moved. So we're going to make a note of node n from our looping. Its original x and y we capture, and its previous moved flag before we do anything is that. So again, so the undo history can revert back to the previous state. We then set x, y, set dirty to true and set move to true, except we don't want to set, we don't need to be changing the y, and we want to set the x to be target x plus half the width. All good. So we've done all that, and then if change node is greater than 0, so we have actually moved something, we push the history event into the history stack. We tell the workspace, we tell the editor that something's changed, so it will enable the deploy button if it isn't already enabled, and then it tells the workspace to redraw because the state of some nodes has changed. Okay. So in the background, I've got grunt dev running, so that's rebuilt the editor in the background. We reload. No errors in the console, so I haven't mucked up the code yet. And then if we select these 3 inject nodes, and then we want to align nodes to left, and sure enough, that inject node has moved over. Let's just check that wasn't a fluke. Select all of those nodes and do align nodes to left, and yep, nodes are all aligned. And then Control Z, yep, undone. Just undo all those moves, and then that one's moved. Done. So that's align to the left implemented. Now, there's going to be a lot of boilerplate code going on here. Yeah, so let's just implement align to right. Okay, and this time, I assume number.min safe integer exists. Yeah, of course it does. And then this time we set what we're interested in. The node x is end.x plus its width. So that's going to find the maximum x. Yep. Then we go loop through. Basically just got to flip the signs on a bunch of those and we're done. So okay, so we define the action, reload. All right, so let's select those ones and we should now have, yep, align nodes to right exists, run it, and it's aligned them all to the right. Now, if I just add in, just to show you, if I add in that change node as well and do align to right, notice it's aligning, aligning the edge of the node. It doesn't align, the buttons don't factor into the alignment. I know there are some people who prefer to align the button edge with the node edge, but yeah, we can't cater for everyone. I think that is far more reasonable, particularly make sure the right hand nodes with the right hand icon, all the icons are stacked. So this is all good. Now I could just go and copy and paste and in 1 minute implement align top, align bottom, but again, it's how long are these functions? These functions are 30 lines of code. Then there is a neater way to reduce the code duplication going on here. How should we go about doing that? Well, what we're going to do is thanks, Princess Edrig, a Node-RED guru. Iodime. I've not followed him. Do I? I probably have. Let's just. Ooh. Ah, excellent. Let me bring that in for Jarl to enjoy. So he sure has got himself a Node-RED guru hat. That's brilliant. I don't think I've crossed paths with him. At least not under that username that I recognise, but I will check him out. Thanks for the link. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to slightly rework this code so we don't have quite as much code duplication. And to begin with, I'm going to duplicate the code. Haha. Right, we're going to so align selection to edge, because this is going to be the sort of general case. And what we're going to do is slightly change this up. So this, if you remember, this first loop is trying to find the minimum or the maximum edge for the left or right. What we can do is just modify this and for very marginal cost, let's just calculate the bounds. So let's find the minimum and maximum of both top, bottom, left and right. So we're going to do I won't do it as an array, may as well do it as an object. Min x, and because it's a min, we want to initialize it to a max. Right, so min and min y, and then max x, max y, and so for the maxes we initialize them to be mins. We then iterate over, and what we want to do is say bounds.min x x is math, so it's the min, so and the, yeah, there's like 30% chance that I get my mins and maxes muddled up as I do this. Min y so I want this one to be, so I go quiet just as I concentrate trying to get so xy, 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 width, height, minus, minus, plus, plus, min, min, max, max, min, min, max, oops, max, min, x, min, y, max, x, max, y. Cool. So now, rather than just calculate one bound, we just get the whole set, because that's convenient. Then, when we come down in here, what we need to do is decide what we want to do. So we're going to say target x, target y. Oh, look at that. We've got spammers in the chat. That's my first ever piece of spam in my live stream chat. Isn't that awesome? What do we do about that? I haven't got my stream manager window open. I've been caught short. Come on. Where are you? Where are you? God, I really think the Twitch website is a pain in the... Yeah, manage stream manager. Yeah, here it is. So let's report. Oh. Right. No, I'm just going to hit block. Done. There we are. Yeah, well, so the victim of success of I've not needed moderators in this chat because I have such a lovely audience. We haven't been, but then I suppose I tweet links the fact I'm live streaming, so it was only a matter of time until someone noticed it. Anyway, let's crack on. So this is meant to be sort of the generic solution. So we're going to pass in a direction argument, which will be left, right, top, bottom. So then when we iterate over, we'll switch on the direction. Top, bottom, left, right. So in the go away. So in the case of what is up, let's just fix that. Ooh. no, this is right. We're going to change this to be, so if the x is not where we want the x to be, or the y is not where we want the y to be, then get rid of that, that. Okay. How do I manage documentation, or do you? Yeah, I wouldn't say I manage it well. Yeah, that's the honest answer. We don't have a very solid documentation story, but the editor has next to no formal documentation. The core, we do have JSDoc littered through more on the externals than any in the internals, but yeah, it's an area I'd love to crack, finding a workflow that works and a documentation style that is useful. But yeah, that's kind of criminal how little documentation there is on the internals. So I'm always looking for good examples. I find lots of well-documented projects, but just the way they structure isn't quite how we structure Node-RED. So I haven't quite found a good thing to crib from. But right. So we've changed the logic down here that we're going to set target X, target Y to what we think this node should be. So we're going to say, so we want to align to the top, which means we want to set, we want the target X to be the bounds min Y, because it's the top. In fact, yeah. Plus n.h divided by 2. And the target Y. And we'll set target X to be n.x. We don't need to move it on that axis. Okay, so for the bottom, we want it to be max y minus half the height. Oh, Atom's indenting of case statements, switch statements always irk me. Right, this time we want on the left-hand edge, so we want the bounds dot min x plus half the width. And we want the y to be exactly what it is. And on the right edge, we want it to be max x minus half the width. Okay, so that then does all the do and then does all that down there. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is delete those two, the left and right functions we had previously. And then down here, we pass in, what did I call the generic function? Align selection to edge. So we want left, right, top, bottom. So I call, yeah, top and bottom. And you'll see I use this pattern in quite a few places we have functions that do actions that do very similar things just in different directions, and then it's just easier to have one function that does the general solution and you pass in a flag saying what direction to apply it to. So let's try, selected those two nodes, and then we want to align nodes to top, and it's worked. And now align to bottom, that worked. And let's grab these guys and align to left. Yep, that's worked. And align to right. That's worked. Awesome. Now, shall we dig into some edge cases? Because we like edge cases. Well, we don't like edge cases. But let's select these two nodes and put them in a group. And then let's select the group and that node and say align nodes to right. Yeah, so that's not done anything. In fact, let's see what, I can't remember what the selection object looks like when you have a group. Yeah, okay, this is interesting. Can you see down here? If you've got a group in the selection, the nodes array contains two things. It contains the group and it contains the node. So what? If I select the group and a node, and I say align nodes to top, it's not moved anything. If I select align nodes to bottom, this node has moved. And why is it moved? It's moved because the groups X and Y are different to a node's X and Y. So a node XY position is at the center of the node. For a variety of reasons, a group's XY is the top corner, because the group also has it has an H and a width and height, W and H pair of properties to give its full dimensions. Welcome Dark65654. Welcome to the stream. Good to have you. So yeah, we need to add in some handling for groups. So to begin with, we need to fix our code that does, well, first of all, I'm just going to hit deploy on this configuration with the group selected, or created, so I don't have to recreate it every time. So first up, we need to change this logic to handle groups. So if n.type, cool, let me just check what we get. We're iterating over, and we get this object with type group. Oops. Type group, you can see. So yeah, so for the mins we just do that, for the maxes we do that. Okay, so now I'm just gonna, don't do that, select those two nodes, create them into a group, just so I've got two groups to work with, reload. Now then, if I select, I'm just going to stick to all groups to begin with. It should now work if I align nodes to right. Nothing happened. What? Yes. Oh, this whole feature has suddenly got so much more complicated. You can't move a group just by setting its X and Y. Or at least, yeah, no, you can't. The reason being, the group's position is determined entirely by the nodes inside it. There's some special logic in the editor about moving groups when you're dragging them around like this, because it actually has to move all the nodes inside in lockstep. But this is okay, but let's try this one. If I select these, and if I, having selected this node and the group, and I select align nodes to bottom, at least now you can see, awesome, it has actually aligned this node with the bottom of the group, which is probably the right thing, rather than aligning it with the bottom node in the group. I mean, if you wanted to do that, you would have to... oh yeah, you can't. Are you a full stack? Well, I guess in the context of Node-RED, yeah. I write all the... Well, I've created all the Node-RED front-end and back-end code, although others do contribute. Right, so we've got the few different things to sort out now. I mean, one easy option is to say, well, this feature just doesn't apply to groups. But, you know, if it was that easy, let's just have a look and a little think. So we fixed calculating the bounds to account for groups. What we now need to do is account for groups down here as well. Pokeballs asks, hypothetically speaking, if JS were to lose its shine, what other programming language would you rewrite the project in, or would you? So one of the... It's a really interesting question. One of the reasons Node-RED even came about was me wanting to learn more about Node.js and finding this sort of... So Node-RED was the first meaty Node.js application I built, and the whole idea of having pluggable nodes and the ease at which nodes could be written was very much influenced by the Node NPM ecosystem and just how many modules are out there. I know plenty of other languages have module ecosystems. I think, I don't know really what other language I'd choose. In my 20 years as a professional developer, I have written in many different languages. I've enjoyed some more than others, but they've all been the tool needed for the job at the time. So yeah, I think there's certainly part of me that I would like to do more with something like Rust or Go, or something that compiles down to a single blob rather than the somewhat tangled mess you can get yourself into with JavaScript. That said, yeah, I don't know. I've done... what have I done in my professional career? I've done more Java than I care to remember. I've done Perl, Python, PHP, C, C++. I have done some Go, and a shed load of JavaScript. I'm sure there must be others in between, but each one, each has its strengths, each has its weaknesses. I tend not to get too wrapped up in the flame wars over different languages. Each to their own, really. But I don't relish the thought of trying to re-implement Node-RED in another language. Anyway, let's just focus on this. Well, I mean, clearly this will age me. So my university course 20 years ago, we were the first year to use Java as the taught language as part of the computer science degree, rather than Pascal. And this was like Java 1.0. Again, a long time ago, and you soon realise much of what they teach, it's the theory they teach you at university, it isn't the practice. So anyway, let me just focus on this for a moment and think straight. We need to add some special handling for groups down here. That's what we need. Right, let's get things back on track a bit. So all that code is to do with nodes that aren't groups. Else, if we're in a group, then we probably want to do something pretty similar. Just thinking it through. Yeah, I'm just trying to think ahead a little to try and I'm trying to minimize how much copy and paste we end up even with these special cases. So I'm going to keep this switch statement. Oh, why not indent the cases so you can actually read them? I don't get it. Anyway, and what we can do here is n.type group is this right? Add it to the top. So we want the target Y. Yeah. So if it's not a group, we need to offset it by that, otherwise we'll offset it by 0. So let's just copy this in. Excuse me, just bouncing around whilst I'm thinking quite a few steps ahead, or at least trying to. I might not be. We'll see how we go. So all of this is going to set up the bounds properly for even if it's a group, with the offset if it's not a group. Good evening, Nathaniel. Great to see you. Okay, so now we've got target, yeah. So now that's all good. And yeah, we're still gonna keep all that code as is, except, so now if the X and Y aren't where we want them to be, this is where we do n.type. No, we've already got that. We can say if not is group, then we can just move it. Else, and this is where it gets tricky. And this is where I'm slightly out of practice in these APIs, so let me quickly go and have a look. What we need to do is get a list of all of the nodes inside this group, bearing in mind they could be nested. So we want to, yeah, red.group.getNodes, I think. Yes, red get nodes, recursive. Good. Where are we? Here. So group nodes equals red.groups red.group.get nodes, then what do we pass it? The group itself, which is n, and pass in true because we want to be recursive, so we get everything. We're then going to do for delta x, so what's the actual change in x position we want? Var delta y. So that's how much we need to move each node inside the group. We're then going to do group nodes for each. And we've got group node gn, just avoid overloading n. Then what we're going to do is muck around with gn now rather than n. And what we want to set gn.x. Now, is it plus or minus the delta? This is where I always get it wrong. That was 8, 10. I think we've got to add the delta. If everything, when I start doing this, if everything moves in the wrong direction, it's because I've got this plus and minus the wrong way. I've got this the wrong way around. Group nodes is declared. Oh yeah, because I mistyped it. Thank you. Okay, and just one extra case to take care of. gn.type, because groups can be nested, and this will return a nested group. So we don't try and move the group directly, we move the nodes inside it. Okay. Well, let's see. That's rather a lot of code I've just written. Who knows? Well, no errors straight off down the bottom. So let's start by trying to align two groups. Let's align them to the right. They've gone. They've all moved. Awesome. Okay, so something's definitely wrong. Let's do a node and a group. Let's align these to the left. Yeah, that's gone wrong. Awesome. Okay. Let's try and figure out what has gone wrong. Have I broken the simple case of just a pair of nodes? Let's align to the right. Yeah, that's broken. So if I select those two nodes and say align to, well, let's do left first. They've shot over there. So I have definitely broken something here. It's going to be in this logic, isn't it? It was always going to be in this logic. So left, the target x is the minimum x bound plus, oh yeah, I think that's it. It will teach me for doing inline tertiary operators. I think. Let's see if that's what it was. So select those two, align to left. No, bugger. No. Right, time for some brute force debugging. So let's see what the bounds are. And then for this node, we've we're going to see what is its target X, target Y. Yeah, let's see what all that brings about. Let's have a look. So let's do to the left. Yeah, okay, so the min and maxes look reasonable, but interesting down here, you can see the target X for both has been set to 0. So that has gone wrong. So this was left. What's gone wrong? Where have I gone wrong here? It's going to be something blindingly obvious, I'm sure. What's going wrong with this expression? Oh dear. $60, $60, $50. Oh, I'm so close in my head. What's where we want? Right, what's gone wrong here? So you can see the four numbers, 0, 300, 60, 60. So target X, we've got 0, 3, was it 300, 60. This is going to be operator precedence stupidity, isn't it? So that's what those four values are in this equation. So min X is 60 plus 60. But that's evaluating to... Oh, it's the operator precedence. Yes. Same issue again. That will teach me. That's... Well, I say it will teach me. It's twice in the last 5 minutes I've made that mistake. But equally, it's one of those, once you know you've spotted it, you remove all your debug before you test it, because you're so confident it's the answer. Right. Align those to left. Awesome, that worked. Align to right. Awesome, that worked. Okay, I'm not going to test the other two cases for now. Sod's law says I have broken it, but, so... There, group and a node. Let's align to bottom. And the group's gone in the wrong direction. Hey, Crying Lightning, well, that's great to hear. You're starting to use Node-RED for quick prototyping. I assume that Industry 4.0 POCs. Excellent. Always good to hear. Right. You know, I said if it jumped in the wrong direction, I've got the signs wrong, then I'm pretty certain it's going to be those signs there. Let's reload. How are we doing? Just over an hour. We're nearly there. Select those two, align to bottom. Okay, we've successfully aligned the top of the group to the bottom of the node. You know, which is some sort of alignment. Let's align to top. Yeah, so aligning to top works. And I tell you what, I bet if I just move this over here, I bet aligning to the left also works. Yep. But I bet aligning to the right doesn't work. No. In fact, that went quite funky, didn't it? Align to right, and it's moved. It's aligned the right edge of the function with the left edge of the group and moved them both, which is kind of a triple whammy of misbehavior. But so this is where our target isn't quite right for groups. Yeah, because we're not trying for the bottom and right case. If it's a group, then we actually want to be taking into account the full width or the full height of the group. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So I select those. Align to left should work fine. Good. Select them and align to right. It now works. Didn't move the group, just moved the node above. If I select these two groups and say align to right, that's worked. And if I align to left, that's worked. If I select everything, this is going to be a horrible mess, align to left, it's a mess, but they're all aligned. At least all the nodes outside of groups are aligned. Oh, that's one thing I've not tested, is nested groups. So let's wrap them in a group. Yeah. So now if I try and align these two, align to the right, that's worked. What's actually interesting is what happens if you need to move, the real test is what happens if you need to move the group with nested groups inside it. So if we align to the left, it pulls everything over. Awesome. Now, curiously, I can select these two groups. Let's align to right, that works. And then that plus that function node, why not align to right? Yeah, that's all worked. Have I done top and bottom? I'm not sure. Let's do top and bottom. So this inject, this big group, and this, oops, missed. Group, node. Let's do align to top. Yep, they're all aligned to top. Let's do align to bottom. That's worked. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. I've not really made my wiring any easier or clearer by doing all that aligning, but is distribute in the plans too. An hour ago, distribute was in the plans to do tonight, but then I remembered about groups when I was doing the basic aligning, and groups have sucked up the last 25 minutes. So will I be assigning shortcuts to these new features? Maybe. I don't know. Probably. Let's just have a look. See, we've got... Yeah. I mean, I know it's two to my own horn. I still really like how this stuff works. Creating actions, creating shortcuts, creating all this sort of stuff. And I mean, you've seen from start to finish on this stream, creating whole new actions, which show up in this list, which we can bind keyboard actions to. So, I don't know, what should we do? Control A, L. Command A. See, that gets a bit iffy because this is where we cheat on OS X and we treat Control and Command as the same key, so we don't have to. So I don't have to worry about them. Let's do Alt A L for a line to the left. So you'll note this is a so it's not Alt A and L. It's Alt A release L, and we have those for others like the various sidebar panels, Control G C or Control G X. So if I just go and now clearly I'm just assigning these locally, but often I start assigning them locally. Let's see how they feel. Do they make sense? And then we'll get them assigned to put them in the default key map. So Alt A for align, then LRTB. So I should now just be able to select those two nodes, do Alt A R, and they've aligned on the right. Alt A L, and they've aligned on the left. Select those two. Alt A top and Alt A bottom. Simple as that. So yeah, to answer your question, Steve, I suspect I will. Well, let's not suspect about it. Let's do it. So default keyboard map is in keymap.json, and we want in the workspace we are going to add this is where lots of copy and paste. So we want all of them. Alt A something. So then L R T B. Yeah, you can see up here we've got Alt S for select, then upstream, downstream connected. So Alt A for align, LRTB. Ooh, yeah. Whilst right, it is quarter power. Yeah, I'm gonna. Why not? Let's do it. 10 more minutes won't hurt anyone. I'm going to add a couple more. Align nodes to middle and align nodes to center. Now, let's have a look. So if we go back to PowerPoint, align nodes to middle is the vertical alignment and center is the horizontal. So no reason not to, we can be consistent with those. So middle and center. So once we've found the bounds, min xy, max xy, we can add to that mid x is bounds well, my brain has just turned off. Min x plus bounds min, sorry, max x. Oh, my fingers are shutting down as well. Bounds dot min x divided by 2, and then mid y is the minimum plus the max y minus the min divided by 2. So now we've got the midpoint on the x and y. So now we can say, we can add in them one at a time. Right, middle. Which did we say? It was middle. Which axis is middle on? Middle is on the vertical axis, so we want to align all their y's. So the target x stays as is. Then we want to set their target y to be bounds.mid y, and that's fine for nodes because nodes are already positioned where they ought to be. But if we're a group, we need to be half the group's height further up. So if it's a group, then we need to do that. If it's a group, we need to move up half the group width above the midpoint, otherwise stay on the midpoint for 0. And then center it's going to be y stays as is, and now the x wants to be, set the x of everything to the mid x, unless you were a group, in which case we want to take half the width. It's already, oh yeah, there was a bug waiting to happen. The previous one, middle, where we're centering it on the y-axis, needed to be half the height, not the width. Cool, cool. And they're already registered there, and whilst I'm at it, we're going to add middle, center, M, and C. Okay. Now what are the chances this is going to work first time? I mean, I often say that, but so let's pick these two, and we're going to align cells to middle, and sure enough, those guys are now aligned. And then let's pick these two, and I'm going to do Alt-A, C, and that has aligned them to the center, except this one didn't move. Or did it move? No, it didn't move. Okay, so we've got those two. If I'm aligning to center, Alt-A, C. Oh yeah, they did both move. Yeah, they aligned at a central point. Cool. Yeah. All right, so well, that's the basic align tools done. Distribute, it's 9:20. I'm going to wrap there. I think this is a successful hour and 20, and it's dark outside. Winter's drawing in. Cool, so let's just do the paperwork, and then we can all go home. So, what have we got? We are add align actions to editor. I hope one day there's a Mac update which makes my Git commits quick. Git push, but of course there's no upstream, and I know there's some Git magic you can do to get it to not warn you about that every time and just do the right thing, but I never remember to do it. So add align actions. Now this is important for those wanting to contribute to Node-RED. Because this is a new feature, it targets the dev branch, not master. Oh. Oof. Okay, let's just do a bit of project hygiene. Git checkout dev, git merge master, git push, git checkout view tools. And let's just refresh. Awesome, back to just my changes. Add line actions to editor. This is a new feature. Proposed changes. Adds align actions to the editor. Are you targeting dev now? Yeah, so anything that is a new feature goes to the dev branch all the time. New features never go to master directly. Master is the current stable release, 2.0, whatever it might be. So bug fixes in the current stable release will always go straight to master. Any new feature, any change in behavior, anything that isn't a bug fix targets dev. And for completeness, if it's a bug fix for the 1.x stream, then it targets the v1.x stream. But yeah, that's what we have. Okay, so we've got, these are our actions. Let's just go to cool. And I think, for completeness sake, yes, come on. This has been one of the items on the Trello backlog for quite a long time. Editor enhancements. Add align nodes action. Here it is. Share, link to card. Right. Yes. Oops. I haven't discussed it, but I wrote the backlog, so that's fine. Yep, unit tests aren't an issue for this, and that's NA. Okay, so we can create the pull request. Yay! So that's added the basic actions. What we haven't done, and what we should do, I will do before that gets merged, is we should have menu options, because there are we now have quite a few actions, like align nodes. That's an interesting point. Align selection to grid. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and rename stuff. We already have align selection to grid, and These all should be the same. I saw that earlier and I meant to make the change and forgot. Okay. I'm not going to do a non-mass copy and search and replace for you on the live stream, but point being, we've got a growing number of view tools, so I want to add in a menu in here to help the user discover these options exist. So that's another piece of work. Might save that for next Monday. So, yeah, and may well tackle distribute as well next Monday. How about that? That actually sounds like I have a plan for next week, which is always better than me having to make it up a few minutes before I start live streaming what I'm actually going to be doing. Awesome. So with that, I think I'm going to sign off. Thank you all for joining. Great to chat to you all. Great to see a few new names. Like I say, I'm here pretty much every Monday. In fact, I'll be here next Monday. I then have a week off, and then I should be back fairly uninterrupted through the autumn. So with that, thank you all for joining. Hope you are all well. Keep safe. And I'm just filling time because I can't find the right window I need to click in order to do this. Good night. Bye all.